been some small changes, but everything else basically stays the same. So as always, what I want you to pay attention to is the energy, the assumptiveness, the excitement, the emotion, and just kind of that sense of you're not trying to get somebody to do something. So I want you guys to really pay attention to that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm curious, from anything I've done this week, is there anybody that can share anything that you've taken from this week that you've immediately implemented into what you're physically doing on a daily basis? Laura, I'd love to hear. I love your enthusiasm, Laura.
I'm so excited. I took all the notes and read them before my recruiting appointment yesterday, and I was asking the question. Sorry, I don't want you to divide it. Okay.
Yeah,
Is that better? Okay. Just asking the questions that open up the other person's dreams and goals, and the yes momentum, get them on the yes train, and there's another one, but I'll just let someone else share. Thank you
Perfect.
for this.
Well, Talia, great share. Talia said she just did one. How did that go, Talia?
It went well. I guess just like I definitely implemented some of the like questions that you asked and like relating it to them and like that sort of thing. And so like as that gets more comfortable, I guess just like, well, I mean, I can start using more energy now, but just like adding that with the energy. So it went well.
Yeah, great job. Look, that will naturally happen. The more you've done anything, the more in just a natural flow state, the more energy comes out naturally. So you're definitely right about that. Doing it more, getting more comfortable is going to make a huge difference. Let's do two more. We'll do Tina and Jody.
Hey, Adam. Thank you. My recruiting call last night went so much better than other ones. And I would attest that to, I wasn't trying to sell them. I already was sold myself. And at the end, she was like, thank you. Like, thank you for giving me this opportunity. It was like I did something really special for her. And it was really kind of phrased that, doesn't that sound great? What do you think? Doesn't that sound great? What do you think? And that really kept it going. And at times I was like, you're talking too much. Start talking to her again. This isn't a presentation. It's a conversation. So thank you.
Yeah, great takeaways. It's funny. I what you just said was reminded me when you have people like really thanking you, just like thank you, like thank you, that you've impacted them, where they're not just like, okay, like let's talk later. They're like, wow, like thank you. You can tell that they really, you've really impacted them in a great way. So that's awesome. Let's do one more and we'll get into it. Jody.
Thanks, Adam. I'm glad you're feeling better today, and thank you for taking the time to do this for us. One of the things I've really, really kept a hard eye on, especially since our last big convention, was my energy. And just having you talk about it again was like, am I doing this, closing my body off, or am I sitting up strong and being like, hey, like, how does this sound? And just keeping that energy. So I've kind of put that in my notes, big sticky note under the bottom of my screen. Where's your energy and your posture, to just keep that up there. And then just like everybody else said, like making it more like a conversation and asking, well, how does that sound to you, instead of being like, let's go next.
Yeah, great takeaways. And I love that, having it right in front of you. I'm a big fan of always having like my goals and dreams right in front of me. Like some of my cologne was 1 million. I'd have 1 million. I literally had the $1 million. It's called a million. I'd spray it on myself every day. And, and I've got my family on my phone. I just like to have that stuff all around me. So I think it's great to have that. And before every meeting, I really want to encourage you in the high performance habits. It says before you, basically, here's his idea. Anytime you walk down a hallway, in your mind, you're thinking about what you're about to do. And like anytime you walk into a new room, anywhere you go, when you walk into a new room, reset your energy. Think about the level of awareness you need to have that any hallway that you ever walk in, you're contemplating what you just did And then any room that you walk into, you're resetting your energy to be peak level. Like, this is how you become a world-class, not only performer, this is how you live a really good life. You know, like, I mean, making lots of money is awesome. Traveling the world is awesome. But if you're not feeling really good every day, what does it matter? Like, real success is feeling awesome. And that's a decision. It's a thought process. It's a commitment that you make every day and often moments throughout the day. So I just wanted to share that. It's also beneficial in your own life to feel really good all the time. It's just, that's the reason we're like born. So without getting too philosophical. Okay. So I'm going to get into this, and let's go. Kimberly DeLu, good to see you. We're recruiting you today, Kim, just so you know. I do have my
Okay, let's go. I've got my Earl Grey tea.
We've got our Earl Greys. I think I must have walked 7 miles with my 22-pound weighted vest in the last 3 days. Spent a lot of time in my sauna, so I'm ready to go. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna go ahead and share. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time, right? Like, as I go through this, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time in this meeting. You know, small talk and building rapport, but that's extremely important. I just want to remind you of that. So when we first jumped onto this, again, I'm gonna be, hey, Kim, right? And by the way, go ahead and unmute yourself. I say, Kim, how you doing? How's things? It's like so good to see you again. What's going on today? And then, you know, we'll get into it. Boom, boom, boom. And hey, Kim, listen, I'm so excited, you know, to help you get started today. This is going to be awesome. Let's get right into it. So, Kim, first thing, now, you guys can see my screen, obviously. I just want to make sure, right? White. Okay. Kim, first thing I want to just welcome you to is our brokerage, the DLD brokerage, and we are the MVP of the company. The reason why I want you to know that is we have a winning culture. And when you work with us, Kim, our commitment is that you're going to win. Okay. Does that sound good? You like winning?
Absolutely, I do.
All right, good. Well, here's the thing is when you're on a winning team and you step into that, you become a winner automatically by being associated. So that's something we're very proud of. Now, Kim, I just want to remind you of this. When we get you started in business, you know, today, as we go to help you get started, listen, you don't need to know anything. I just want to remind you of that. All you have to do is get your online license wrapped up. You just have to get your online license. It's 60%. We want you to get that fast, okay? I recommend in like a week, 2 weeks, absolutely max. And then what's going to happen is we're going to match you up with a broker. We're going to actually do everything in the beginning. You're going to get paid to learn. Kim, when was the last time you got paid to learn?
A really long time ago. I don't know if I've ever been paid to learn. Usually it's you learn as you go.
Well, it's like the opposite of college, right? Where you got to pay to go to school. Here, you're actually getting paid as you're learning. So we're getting paid to teach, you're getting paid to learn. But I just want to remind you, Kim, if you want, there's no limits here. So we can actually teach you as well how to become the broker. You know, and as time goes on, we'll take a closer look at that. So first thing I'm going to do, Kim, I want to show you a life-changing commission plan, you know, compensation plan. You're going to get paid so many different ways, and it's going to make a massive impact on your life, especially your freedom of time. So I'm going to walk you through that. I've never seen a better compensation plan than this in my life, and I think you'll see that as we go through. So first way you're going to get paid is upfront. That's probably going to be the easiest money you've ever made in your life. And here's why. Is you get your license, and then the upfront commission, that's the money you're making with your broker. So when you're first out there with your broker, and on average, it's about $1,500 per client. When you're out there with your broker, a lot of that money is coming from the training, okay? But it's not uncommon to go make $25,000 or $50,000 part-time in your first year. If you want to put some work into this, we do that all the time. All right. So that's part-time. But Kim, that's only the first way that we get paid. There's more. There's more. Okay. So we're going to go through that next. Kim, are you familiar with passive income?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. What do you know about it?
Well, I have a business already, so we make some passive income when other people are working for us.
Perfect. Good. Love it. Then you know all about this. And by the way, if you want, you can go onto like YouTube and go Google the cash flow quadrant. By the way, I tell people to do this. Go Google the cash flow quadrant. Let Robert Kiyosaki explain to you how this thing works, okay? He's the guy from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So essentially in our business, you can help clients and make money, but you can also build a team. Now, you don't have to build a team, but you certainly can. And by the way, check this out. Here's how it works. Anytime anybody in your agency helps a client, they get paid, but you also get paid. Now, and by the way, just like real estate, it's the exact same thing. Imagine you had even 3 people in your team and they all helped one person only in a month. That alone could pay you $3,000 a month. Ever made money in your sleep, Kim? And by the way, most people are going to say no, but obviously she has. But that's the question. When's the last time you made money in your sleep? Can you imagine how much more you'll be able to travel and have free time when you start making passive money like this? Right?
That sounds really intriguing.
Yeah, well, hey, this is how business works. This is how it works. As well, you're also going to get paid residually. So any client that you've ever helped, as long as they're your client, every single month you're getting paid just a little bit from, if they do, let's say $100 to their insurance or $100 to their investments, you're getting paid basically as the advisor, a small percentage. Now, to have 125 clients after 5 years, that's only 2 clients per month. That's only 2 clients per month. But after 5 years, that could be paying you an extra $30 or $40 or $50,000 per year or more. So just think about that. First, you've got the upfront, then you've got the team, then you've got the residual. But wait, there's more. Remember when I told you this was the best compensation plan you'd ever see? Can you see why I said that?
Absolutely, I can. This is wow. Better than I had expected it to be.
Good. Well, that's good. I aim to impress. But I also want to remind you, this comes with work and it comes with time. It's not like too good to be true, but this compensation plan, if you're willing to put in the work and give it some time, listen, in 5 years, I just give you my personal guarantee, in 5 years, if you were 100% coachable, in 5 years, that's a maximum, okay? As a maximum of 5 years, you'd be making a minimum of $100,000 per year, and you will never have a boss for the rest of your life, okay? That's my personal, I've never seen anybody come in here and not do that, okay? So, by the way, on top of that, there's some bonuses. Now, the biggest bonus, so we have a fast start bonus, and it's real simple. We're going to give you like $500 cash to basically go get your license quick, get on a couple of appointments, and go through an overall review of your own game plan. But that's gonna pay you $500 cash just to get your license, which basically makes your licensing free. It basically makes it free. Like, because I mean, can you just think about this? Can you name me one other place where you could basically get into business basically for free and be profitable in the thousands in your first month of business?
No, most businesses that I know, you've got to have a lot of upfront cash and you've got to pay to get into the system or pay for the schooling.
Exactly. And so can you see why our company's exploding? Can you see why so many people are jumping on board full time and so many people are quitting their jobs?
Yeah, this almost sounds too good to be true, Adam.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna back it up here for you.
Okay.
Okay. And as a reminder, it's not too good to be true. Listen, most people are just not willing to do the work that it takes to succeed on a high level. So, Kim, when I'm talking about making 100,000, $250,000 or more, that's going to take a lot of hard work. if you're willing to do that, we are going to make it happen. But to just get your license and make a couple grand a month part-time to go make 20, 30 grand in your first year, we do that all the time. All the time. We do it all the time. So I just wanted to make sure that before we got too excited, the big numbers come with some hard work. But to go make some, 20, 30 grand part-time, we do that all the time. So, and another thing I just want to share with you is you're going to get a world-class financial education as a bare minimum. What impact do you think it would have spending a lot of time with very successful, positive, upbeat, just great entrepreneurs? Do you think that have a pretty big impact in your life, spending time in an awesome, exciting environment?
It does. I think that would be very beneficial to me and my family.
Yeah. And I mean, one of the things I love most about our company is just the people. We attract world-class people. We attract people that want to live better lives, that want to be happier, that want to have more fun. And it's like the money's just a bonus, but just being a part of the team is just incredible. Oh, and by the way, you're going to save a bunch of money on taxes. Can I tell you what one of my favorites is?
Please do, because I hate paying taxes.
Yeah, I remember when I was super broke before I got started in the company, and I had no money at all. I could never afford to sit on the front of the plane. Now I basically only ride, like I sit in the front of the plane only. I sit only in the front of the plane, but it's a tax write-off. So you actually save money to travel. How cool is that? Could you imagine for the rest of your life, everywhere that you travel, and you're able to do some business, maybe you do a meeting or a phone call, and now you can write the thing off as that's entrepreneurship. Like, that's awesome. Almost nobody can do that, but you are going to be able to do that once we have your code set up.
I want to fly in those front seats. I always walk past them looking very envious.
Yeah, we call them, well, hey, now you can be up at the front, right? So we call it living the dream. And by the way, here's a whole bunch of people that have started with us. They all started part-time. As a reminder, just like you, no background, started part-time, got matched up with a broker. Most, if not all of these people on these pictures you're seeing make at least six figures, if not multiple six. And then you can see there's a lot of travel and other stuff in there as well. So, by the way, Kim, now that we've got to this point, how you feeling so far? Just wanted to check in here.
I feel excited, but I feel a little bit intimidated. Like, all these people seem really, really successful. And how do this whole team environment just might seem a little bit intimidating.
Yeah. Hey, that's fair. By the way, I completely know how you feel. I actually felt the exact same way when I got started. But here's what I want. I want you to picture. First of all, I just want to remind you, all you got to do is get 60% on an open book test that we have a tutor for. Okay. That's literally all you need to think about. We are going to do the rest in the beginning. We'll make the phone calls. We'll do Kim, could you sit in a chair and just not say anything for 30 minutes?
Me? That'd be really hard, actually.
Okay, good. Well, that's a good sign. That's a good sign that you'll be great here. But realistically, in your first month or 2 months, that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be like a co-pilot sitting there taking notes, learning. You literally don't need to think about anything. Remember, I talked about getting paid to train?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's where we're going to start. But just listen, I want you to picture yourself in like 1 or 2 years. And we've been working together for 1 or 2 years. Now, I've trained you. I've coached you. You've taken a bunch of classes. You've helped a bunch of clients. You know so much more. You've made, who knows, you've made $50,000 or $100,000 a year. You've probably went out and got some new business clothes. You're feeling way more confident because we've trained you and coached you, and you've spent some time here. So I want you to imagine, how good is that going to feel, that new version of you? And what kind of results do you think that new version of you could get after a year or 2 years of developing yourself?
That sounds really exciting and very intriguing on the personal development part as well. Yeah,
that's great. And hey, like, our company is a lot like that. You don't need to come here with anything besides a good attitude, right? And willing to do some work, because we can teach you the rest. So, as we sort of wrap things up, and this is a great way to segue from that as well, I just want to remind you, in the beginning, the three main requirements, for yourself in getting started is number one is just to get that license. That's the number one thing you got to do. And I'm confident you can go do that in 10 days. We've had so many people go off and do that in a week or two. It might take you a little bit longer, but I'm just going to challenge you, rip it off like a Band-Aid and go get it done real fast so we can get you paid real fast and get it going. But step one is your license. And then once that's out of the way, the only other thing that we're doing is we have 2 awesome classes per week. One's on Wednesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and one's on Saturday morning from 9 till 11. We put one in an evening and a weekend so that most people would be able to attend at least one, but usually both. So would both of those times work for you? Would you be able to make both of those times work?
Are these mandatory or are they, like beneficial but not mandatory?
Yeah, great question. Really good question. Listen, nothing's mandatory here.
Okay.
You're in business for yourself, but at the end of the day, the more you train, the better you're going to get. Does that make sense?
That totally makes sense.
So,
But just, yeah, as long as I'm a busy mom with kids in sports, so Saturdays sometimes are busy. So
Totally
as long
fine.
as I
Yeah.
don't always have to be there, like I'll want to be there, but I don't have to be there.
Totally fine. Hey, listen, most people start that way. And if you can commit to even just one to start, that's a great place to start. If your Saturdays open up, hey, that's going to be awesome as well.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, what sports are your kids playing? And then I'd get into a little bit of a conversation about sports and then I'd get back into it. Okay. So then step 3 is really is to become the broker. And that's just the hands-on shadowing training that essentially you're getting paid for. So again, that's why you don't need to know anything. That's why it's all going to work out, because all you got to do is get the license and we'll help you with the rest. So as we go to wrap up, kind of the last thing I'll touch on is how do we actually get you started up? Now, in terms of getting your business started today, the only thing we're going to be looking at is getting your code applied for. That's the only thing we're going to do today. Now, before we get too excited here, so getting a code set up with us, first of all, that's how you're going to get paid. You're going to get paid twice every single week. How many times are you currently getting paid, Kim?
Twice a month.
Okay, so we're about to add 8 paychecks to your life. You're going to get paid 8 times per month, okay? When you go to help a client, you're going to put your code on it, right? You're going to get paid. When we go to get your license, you're going to put your code on it. You're going to get paid. Remember we talked about saving taxes at the front of the plane, sitting in the VIP seats? At the end of the year, when you go to do your taxes, it's going to come from your code. So, and as time goes on, your code can be the most valuable thing in your entire life. Trust me on this, okay? Your code over time can pay you hundreds of thousands and take care of your family, all right? And by the way, and it's the only thing we're going to look at today, and it's only $150. It's literally peanuts to set it up. But to get a code with us, very important. We do a bit of a fraudulent, criminal, bankruptcy, and overall sort of like credit check. So before we get too excited about getting you started, do you think you would have any challenges with any of those, or do you think you'd be fine?
Well, I'm going to say no, but what do you say if a client says yes?
I'd say, hey, great. Just out of curiosity, if you don't mind me asking, what do you think might come up? And then if that does happen, you can then go back to your SMD and say, hey, this is the case. If somebody's currently bankrupt or in bankruptcy, you cannot get a license. You have to be discharged for 9 months.
Okay.
And then you can, okay? If somebody has a criminal record and it's recent, and especially if it's fraudulent, it's not a good thing. If somebody had a criminal record from years back and it was one thing, that's often not an issue. So find out what it is and say, hey, I'll just do a little bit of homework for you, and then ask your SMD and we can find out for you. Good question. So Kim, that's all we're going to do. $150, best investment you've ever made. It's like 10 cups of coffee in today's marketplace, literally. So that'll be today. Now, after that, once that gets approved, we have a little bit of a celebration party, okay? And then we help you to go set up your online course. Now, this course is typically like 2,000, 3,000. It can be, I've seen it 4,000 in some places. Because we do so many, you get it with us for only $200. And by the way, that's the online course that you're going to pass. Now, You've got a tutor, you only need 60% and it's open book. Just want to remind you of that. So you're definitely guaranteed going to pass it. Okay. Now, once you've passed that, then the next portion, usually a couple weeks down the road, then the next portion is the provincial exams. It's basically the same tests. It's only $100. The government doesn't do anything for free. Then we have another party. And then once that's done, now the last step is getting your license put in force, which depending which, province you're in can vary a little bit, but normally in and around $200-250. So from start to finish, and again, we do it in phases. First the 150, then we get that, then the next one, then we get that. So we do it in phases, but in total it's about 750. But best part I've already mentioned, when you get your fast start bonus, you're going to get like $500 anyways, and it's basically free. So the only step that we're going to be looking at today is the code. But before we do that, just out of curiosity, one question that I have for you is, in terms of you getting started with us, I just want to let you know this. This is going to be the best opportunity you have literally ever come across in your life. This will be 100%. You're never going to find a more supportive team. You're never going to find a better leadership team. You're never going to have more resources. You'll just never find anything like this. You're going to have access to our training, our scripts, literally our back office, our content. So you're going to have everything that you need here to win. But I'm also curious, and by the way, I've got some really good feelings, but I'm curious to know from your point of view, what do you feel you're going to bring to our team as we look to take you on board and start, training you in business?
I think I can bring a very positive attitude. I'm also a bit of a go-getter. Being an entrepreneur already, I know what it takes to make things work. So I can bring that energy to the team. And excitement. I'm excited to learn something new. I'm very inquisitive and I love learning.
That's awesome. I've actually noticed about you that you have asked some great questions today. I've noticed that about you. I always pay very close attention to people's energy as well. Like while we're spending our time today, this whole time, I've been paying very close attention to you, because that's my job, is to take a look and see, hey, are the people I'm chatting with people that I want to work with, people I want to take on board onto my team. And I've loved your energy. I've loved your questions. And I also love that you have you've got a great background, in entrepreneurship. That's going to be very helpful for you. And I'm assuming, based on the fact that you've already had a business and you've already invested all this money, for you to be able to get started for like $150, you're like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
This is really small.
Yeah, you would know that, right? Most employees wouldn't. But and then I guess probably one more question before we look at setting your code up would basically be, what's the number one thing, if everything works out perfectly for you, what's the number one thing that you want to get out of this? What's the number one thing? What's the number one reason for you getting started today?
Oh, I want the passive income is a huge one, but I also have huge goals and dreams for some of my kids. So I want to help fund those. I shouldn't say I have the hopes and dreams. They have the hopes and the dreams and the goals. And I want to fund those things for them so that they don't have to have the financial pressure that so many people are facing in the world.
Yeah, well, that's the best reason I think I've ever heard to get yourself started in business, is to be able to help your family. And I can totally relate to that. Like when I started, I was completely broke. And for me, I also wanted to make sure that if something happened and my family needed money, that I was going to be the guy that was able to help them. And I just want to reassure you that we're going to make this happen for you. And whatever you're willing to work for, we can make come true for you and your family, so that can happen. So look, after spending some time today with you, Kim, I got to tell you, I'm super excited, and I feel good enough at this point to basically, give it a shot with you, give you a shot to get started and just kind of jump right in and see where it goes. So I got one last question for you.
Okay, hit me.
Are you ready to jump in and start having some fun, Kim?
I definitely want to have fun. I've been working with my husband for all my life, and he's a great guy, but it's nice to meet and talk to other people.
Sure. Yeah. And by the way, and that is awesome. And you're going to meet a ton of new people. And as a side note, as we help you set up your code and get things going, if down the road, you like the idea of getting into business with him again a little bit, you can. Of course, if you want to keep it separate, you can. That's completely up to you. I'll stay out of that conversation. But hey, listen, what I'll do right now, I'll go ahead and set up the application. We'll jump in and set up your code. And then immediately we're going to book a strategy session to go get your fast start bonus, to go get your license and go make that first couple $1,000s in your first month and just go from there. So let's get that rocking.
Okay. I love how quick this is going. It's good. I love the energy.
Boom. Yeah, that's it. It's go time. All right. Awesome. Great job, Kim. By the way, you're an awesome subject. What, an interviewer? I don't know what the word is. You're awesome. Okay. So I want to do I don't have as much time for takeaways today, but I want to do some takeaways from today's meeting. This meeting that we just did and the fast start meeting, those are the two most important meetings in our business. Those are the two most important, is getting somebody started in business and then really getting them on the right path. So let's do some quick takeaways. Tracy.
Oh, this is great, Adam. There was lots, but just like the leaning in, the repeating of words. So, and then just how you referenced the comparison to real estate. I like that because a lot of people know real estate, right? But yeah, just in the great energy. So there's so many. This is so beneficial.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, good. Awesome takeaway. Any more quick takeaways? I think the thing that I would want you to have taken away, I mean, again, as always, it's your energy, it's your enthusiasm, it's your ability to transfer your energy. That's the key. Like it's to transfer energy. Recruiting is simply a transfer of energy and a transfer of belief. Do you guys remember when she said, "Oh, I just don't know if I could do this"? Then I gave her a transfer of belief. You know, I dismantled why she'd be worried. I reminded her about the paid to getting trade. I painted the picture of what it's going to look like in a year or two. I reminded her everyone started that way, and then we just kept going, right? Kim, we'll do one more takeaway. And I guess this would be good because you were kind of in the driver's seat there.
I love the assumptive language that you kept using and the emotional pictures that you were painting. That to me is huge. And also how you really conducted this like an interview. You're not like, "Oh, please come work with us. I need the recruit." Exactly. It was much more like, this is an interview and you've got to meet these requirements, or, maybe you're not going to make the cut.
Exactly. That's true. So yeah, thanks, Kim. I'm so glad you shared that, because those are probably like in some of the most important things is when we're talking. I told her I've been assessing you this whole time. This whole time I'm seeing if you're the kind of person I want to work with. Because listen, at the end of the day, you have to understand this. Like, listen, you have to understand this. Think about what the other person is getting when they get started with us. What are they getting? The environment, the leadership, they will get everything they ever needed to go change their lives. And on the other end, you're getting a stranger you've never met before. Like, you don't know if they're going to do anything, literally anything. So you're the value. You're the value, and you have to position it that way because it's true. And it's good to be assumptive, but have some takeaways, like challenging people, because that's the truth. And that is important. You're going to get this, you're going to get this, you're going to get this. What are you going to bring to the table? And then affirm that, and connect with her a little bit. But then, so yeah, that was a great takeaway. Friends, this was awesome. I'm all fired up again. I can't wait for my voice to come back. But, listen, if you want to listen to me, if you want to stay fired up and excited all day long, wake up early. Have a world-class morning routine that inspires you, and then get on the phones immediately. Get talking to people. The more that you put out, the more you get back. And as you're out there fired up, you're going to be fired up. You wake up and take it easy and get on the computer. You're going to fall asleep for the day. You need to get on the phone immediately, start talking to people, and then get on some appointments. Man, nothing will fire you up more than talking to people all day. And by the way, last thought. The more that you say it, the more that you believe it and you feel it, That's why you need to be the one on the phone all the time. And you need to be the one doing flip charts yourself because you reinforce the belief into yourself. Does that make sense? The more you say it out of your own mouth, the more your subconscious, grabs a hold of it. So, my friends, this has been awesome. Now, I'm not able to do tomorrow, but I'm going to do a couple more of these next week. And it's going to be awesome. So stay tuned. Monday night. Forget that thought. For now, stay tuned for the next 1 o'clock classes. I'm going to do some more next week, most likely Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But I will get back to you guys. Let's go have an awesome day and let's go recruit lots of people. You got to talk to way more people, way more often, with way more enthusiasm all day long. Okay? Let's go get it. Thanks for being here, everybody. Great job, Kim.
For giving me an
Yes. Wait,